Hey guys, this is Eric here from the Snake Den. Just want to talk to you about a little bit today about thermal burns on a ball python. This is Rambo. We got him 2 weeks ago from his previous owners. He's a rescue. He had a thermal burn, so I told him I'd take care of him for him. One thing you have to remember about thermal burns is that it's a very, very serious thing for ball pythons. It can be fatal if it's bad enough. No matter how good or bad it looks on the outside, you always have to remember it's worse on the inside of the snake. So you always need to bring him to a vet. That's very important to do with thermal burns. He had a heating pad on his glass aquarium, and they didn't have any substrate or anything in there. They just had him in the tank. He laid on the heating pad for a little too long, and he got pretty bad thermal burns. Like I said, I had him for about 2 weeks now, and he's starting to look a lot better. It was a lot worse. One of the ways you can tell your snake has a thermal burn is that it'll look like a water blister on their stomach if they get it on their stomach and it's bad enough. Just like if you were to burn your hand, their scales will inflame with pus. And what you have to do is you do not pop them. That can cause them to get very infected. You're going to have to take whatever you have in their cage out, all the substrate, and you're going to want to put paper towels. A lot of people say you can use newspapers. I don't like to use newspapers because the ink can actually soak into the cut and infect it. But you're going to want to change the paper towels twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. And you have to make sure it's very clean. There can't be any urine or feces in the cage because if it gets into the cut, it can become extremely infected. And that is also another fatal thing for a ball python is infection. One thing you can do to help treat this is to put Neosporin on it twice a day once again. Once in the morning, once at night. And you basically just rub it on, don't cake it on too much because that's not good for him either. Just put it on there where he needs it and just watch. One of the things that will happen if they have thermal burns on their stomach is the inflamed scales will eventually pop. That's nothing to worry about, but if you notice they're popping and they have the paper towels are wet in their cage, you need to change them right away so they're not sitting in pus. You can always tell when they're starting to get a little better. If you see him right here, he's got a little bit of a yellow shade. I'm not sure how good you can see that on this camera. He's got a little bit of a yellow shade, some black spots, but they're not inflamed right now. They're actually on their way to going back to normal. One of the things is the only reason I didn't shoot this video is when the thermal burns were really bad is because snake's not a dog. It's not going to whine when it's hurt. And thermal burns hurt them very much. That's why I'm not touching his underside where he has thermal burns. You're not going to want to handle them much. They would not appreciate that. If you are going to feed them, if it's not a bad thermal burn, what you're going to want to do is buy a smaller prey item than what you are feeding it normally. This way their stomach doesn't expand because if it is a normal sized prey item, when it goes through their stomach, it'll actually pop the blisters, which is no good. And it's a very good way for them to get infections. You have to keep them very clean. Their cage has to be clean all the time. You have to make very good sure of that. And whatever they burn themselves on, obviously, you have to take out of the cage right away. We had to take his heating pad off because he continued to lay on it even after he had thermal burns. So you're just going to want to keep a heat lamp on them above their cage where they're not going to get any more burns. And this is going to be hard for them to regulate their body temperature while they have this too. They're always going to want to be extra warm. You can give them a bath, just a nice lukewarm bath, not too much. If you do it too much, it can be very stressful to them, and this is stressful enough for them. That's basically it. I mean, you just got to watch it, take them to the vet the second you see thermal burns. And like I said, one of the ways to identify a thermal burn is they'll get water blisters. Another thing, if they have it on their side, he has one here somewhere, but I'm pretty sure that healed up already, is it'll look almost like you burnt a piece of paper. It'll get a little black and gray, and you can definitely tell it's a burn. Sometimes they're hard to find if it's in the black part or the darker parts of the snake, but just try not to handle them too much. put him on paper towels right away. Make sure he's got a secure hide, and one of the things is they have to stay hydrated. You always have to keep a large amount of water in their cage. The more they drink, the better it is for the thermal burn, the better it is for the insides of the snake. That's about that for this, and hope to be talking to you soon. You can follow us on ballpythons101.webs.com. Once again, we're the Snake Den. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you very much. Have a good day.